Okay, so what's the time? Oh, it's the time. Right. Okay, folks, it's 6. So basically, why am I going to go through 5 practices? The reason why I'm going to go through 5 key practices is that fundamentally it depends what kind of practice you require, depending on how you feel at a specific time and also what kind of person you are. Now, I've always admittedly found mindfulness and meditation very, very challenging, because I would come under if you've seen my list of types of meditation that I put on my Facebook page and group, I would come under the kind of person who is very, very energetic, both mentally and physically. And I like movement, grounding types of mindfulness movement. And that's why I'm mad into yoga. But I've found with these 5 key things that I'm going to give you today that you will find one at least that you can come back to help you build positive habits to take ownership and control of your own well-being. Because we are, particularly in these unprecedented times, our nervous systems are becoming quite dysregulated. So if you're dropping into your sympathetic fight, flight, freeze, okay, this will help you to bring yourself back into the zone of where you will feel calm and balanced. So it's all about you choosing the version. It's all about taking back control. The whole point of mindfulness and Buddhist practices, mindfulness became westernized in the late 60s by the lovely John Kabat-Zinn, who was considered to be the father of Western mindfulness, taking it from the Buddhist principles. That whatever is going on, you cannot control what is happening to you, people's behaviour, the world outside, but you can control your reaction to that. And that is fundamentally the most important thing about the whole practice of mindfulness or meditation or whatever you want to call it. So, reminding you of the 5 things that I said. Number 1 is the movement grounding based practice. This is really, really good for people who are really stuck in the agitated, I can't sit still kind of yoga, mindfulness type person, and the movement really helps them. Particularly if you're stuck and you feel immobilised, which is when you're dropping out of fight flight and you're going beneath that and you're going into the ventral vagal and you're dropping down and you're getting too much stress flooding your body, too much cortisol. So number 1 is the movement grounding one. And that is fundamentally anything that can be body based. Walking, yoga, tai chi. But I'm going to do one with you that you can do seated, but there is movement involved. Number 2, traditional seated practice. This is the one that a lot of people find challenging. This is when we can focus on one of your 5 senses, such as breath or sound. I like sound, I love sound. It gives you more a sense of clarity, it gives you more concentration, it gives you more peace and more balance. Very good if you're wanting to, be good at something. Mindfulness at the end of the day is when you're being aware. You can be you can see fantastic athletes and musicians and dancers in the mindful moment because they're so swept up in what they're doing that they have no sense of time. Okay, mindfulness is used in sport a lot. This will give you a lot of peace and balance. Number 3. This is one where you focus on your mind or your body or your emotion. And this one is quite good for helping you to deconstruct any reactive habits or roadblocks that you've come to you from social conditioning. So if you're one of those people who are like, well, I can't be bothered, I ain't got time to make time for myself, and I really can't get into a habit of looking after my well-being and a regular practice. It's because you're pushing against it, you're reacting against it. So that mind-body emotional practice will help you get over those roadblocks, because the more you notice what's going on with your body, the more that you can get into, the more that you can take a step back from being reactive, pushing against it. That's what we do. We tend to do. We find excuses. We do all sorts of things to try and avoid looking after our well-being. Bad habits, basically. Number 4, meta, loving kindness, compassion practices. Very, very good. What we need more than anything else at the particular moment. Very good for NHS and key workers as well. I love this kind of practice. It doesn't feel very authentic when you do it first off, because it's like, you know, you're sending out good wishes to people, but like a prayer or whatever. But the more you practice it, the more authentic it becomes. It's about building compassion for yourself, which is quite hard to do. So I'm going to play around with that compassion-based practice, because I'm actually going to do it today. And help you to include yourself in that, which is always very, very hard. We find it very hard to be compassionate about ourselves. Very good for compassion fatigue. Very, very good. Something that I suffer from quite a lot, to be honest. I'll be very, very honest, I suffer from continuous compassion fatigue. 1, I'm quite empathetic and I give a lot out energy-wise. And 2, I live with somebody who, if you've known me intimately, has anxiety and PTSD, and living with somebody who's an open wound, you have to learn to be with yourself and to show compassion for that person. It's very hard. Particularly if you work in the NHS, you are constantly challenged by your compassion and your fatigue, where you end up feeling numb. You don't feel anything. And that compassion one's really important, because we need that right now, don't we? Because we are so separate from everybody at the moment, and we need to feel that connection and that closeness. And it helps us to rebuild ourselves after, say, a mind-body sort of practice, where we are deconstructing those roadblocks. It helps to reconstruct ourselves and to be a better person, where we can connect with people a lot more. It's the best Buddhist practice for me. I mean, a lot of mindfulness is based on Buddhism anyway. And lastly, the just be practice, where you are just letting go, and you are letting go of that destination addiction. This is the Western disease. Objectives, destination addiction, you know, this idea that you've got to constantly improve yourself, that you're getting better. And unfortunately, there is a lot of people who are kind of putting us on pressure at the moment. Oh, you've got loads of time to read a book and write a novel and do this and do that. I mean, just basically, I want to say. Have you got the luxury to do that? I know that some of us are really, really struggling at the moment, right in the middle of this pandemic. And the last thing anybody wants to tell us is some rich celebrity, way, telling you, oh, you should practice some form of self-improvement yourself. If you've got out of your pyjamas today and that's all you've achieved, well done. I'm still in mine. Hey, just forget all of that kind of, you know, just be. That's what we want. Stop this doing stuff. Just be. This thing is, we're obsessed with doing, aren't we? And we forget about just being. We are a being person, a human being person. And it's just like do. Objectives this, objectives that. Have you met your targets at work? Blah, 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 blah. This obsession, isn't it? Oh, where's your PDR? Oh, what about your appraisal? Blah, blah, blah. You know, this is the fundamental thing where we're always told that we're not good enough. And we are good enough. And that's what the Just Be practice all around. Now, I'm going to do 2 today, and I'm going to try and do sort of 2 every week, but one week I'll just do 1, but I'll talk about the science of mindfulness. I am a science person. You will get no pseudoscience from me and no woo-woo, you know. I will not try to realign your chakras with crystals and things like that. You know, I am into science and I love it. When you've worked in a university, way, and when you've been studying all your life and been a teacher, way, that's the kind of life I've always lived. You probably think that's not very good, that's not very mind-body connection, you know, I'm maybe a little bit, you know, on the spectrum, slightly. Vulcan, maybe even a little bit, you know, emotions are illogical, whatever. But I like all that kind of stuff. We all know that Eastern medicine can teach us stuff that Western doesn't. You know, we've got that Cartesian dualism that came, you know, with Descartes, you know, with the Enlightenment, where we just separated the mind from the body and said that the mind is more important than the body. And, you know, science now realises we have a second brain in our guts, that there is a mind-body connection, you know, with our vagus nerve. There is all this stuff where, you know, science is now looking into this holistic nature of which Eastern medicine has had. So we're going to do, number 1, a movement-based practice. Very good if you're suffering from anxiety right now and you're feeling stuck and immobilised. Meditation. I can't remember the name of the Buddhist who introduced this, but he's darn good. I like his brother a lot. I follow him on YouTube, if I can remember his name. Let me see if I can remember his name. Rinpoche. He's got a brother. They're all monks. And he's got a brother, is it Mingyur Rinpoche? Yeah. He's a lovely man. He makes me laugh. It's Yongey Mingyur Rinpoche. Probably said it wrong. There you go. Tibetan teacher, Tibetan Buddhism. He's from the Turgai meditation community, and his brother, I think it's I can't pronounce it. It's spelled Tsikey. He did this practice quite good. And the other one I'm going to do is love and kindness, because I think we need it. And I think the reason why we need it is our primary resource of comfort is gone. And that's mental well-being is our connection to other people and touch. Being able to see people, being able to hear people. That's why it's really important if you're on your own at this particular point, it's really important that you try to connect with people as much as you can through social media, such as FaceTime, things like that, and Zoom and stuff like that. It's really, really important. So what I'm hoping to achieve through that practice is helping you to get back into that primary resource of comfort and connection with other people, which is really important. Right, I'm going to go through some tips. So, tips for how to practice mindfulness and meditation to get you started, because you have to have the right mind, okay? You must have the right attitude and sometimes the right place to do it, to be honest. Buddhists always say you have to go into your practice with that attitude, and these are the attitudes that you need to have. Number one, you must have absolute curiosity, an open mind. You must notice everything that happens and everything and how you react. You put the welcome mat out for everything, and you do not push away any emotions. There is no such thing as a negative emotion. Grief is not a negative emotion. Sadness is not a negative emotion. Depression is not a negative emotion. There are no negative emotions, and we never ever push them away. As I've said before, you know, the quote from Hamlet, there is neither good nor bad, nor thinking makes it so. Why do we categorise emotions into good and bad? When we practice mindfulness, we allow them to happen, okay? We must allow them to happen, and notice how you react when these so-called negative, these negative emotions, I'm not allowed to feel them, because we're told, aren't we? We're told not to. You know, there is something called toxic positivity, and you need to say, up your bum to those people who always preach toxic positivity, because it's like saying that there is no room for other emotions. People are always saying, oh, cheer up, you know, it'll get better. You don't need those people in your life. You need to, the whole point is you are a human, and you need to feel the whole gamut of emotions, all of them, every single one of them. It's what makes you who you are. It makes us human at the end of the day. So just notice how your body and how you react to all the emotions, and soften to them and welcome them. Say hi to it when they pop up. Allow whatever happens in the practice to happen to you. Let them come and go. But the thing is, you need to stop struggling and resisting and push it away. Stop pushing those emotions away. Put out the welcome mat to it. It's that famous poem, isn't it? By Rumi. I think I might read it out, actually. I'm just going to find it now. Rumi, and it's called I think it's called The Guest House. And it is the Persian poet. He's fantastic poet, Persian poet, okay. It is a beautiful poem, and it's about putting the welcome mat out to every single emotion, and I think it's fantastic. This is basically what mindfulness is. This being human is a guest house. Every morning a new arrival, a joy, a depression, a meanness, Some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all, even if they are a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture. Still, treat each guest honourably. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice. Meet them at the door, laughing, and invite them in. Be grateful for whatever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from beyond. Beautiful poem there. So yeah, allow whatever happens. Stop struggling, stop resisting. Have an openness to everything. Moment by moment by moment in this present time, that curiosity. And not wanting to judge or change anything. Let things be. Now, the thing with that is we are trying to practice non-reaction and non-attachment to all of these emotions. How do we do that when we practice mindfulness? Well, we have to keep practicing, and we have to practice witnessing and noticing. The more you practice and notice all these different sensations and emotions coming up, you will, when you're allowing, mindfulness is the essence of allowing. The more you practice this, the more you can sit with the challenge of those emotions, the difficult ones. You are knowing as opposed to thinking, because you're not thinking about the emotion, you're not commenting on the emotion, you're not judging the emotion, you're not expecting to change the emotion, you're not wanting it to pass. Emotion, emotion. Emotions move, motions through. They don't stay. Nothing is permanent, isn't it? Is it Boethus, the philosopher, said history is the wheel, sometimes you cast at the bottom and then you're at the top. The only certainty is that there will always be this up and down kind of scenario. So the more that you practice, the more that you witness, the more that you notice, the more that you will put a distance between you and that emotion and that feeling and that sense. Does that make sense? Other tips: pick a nice special place that's very positive for you, where you feel settled. I have a room. You're in my room. Hello. In my room now. This room is where I practice mindfulness meditation. Nothing else happens in this room. Nothing else happens in this room. It's got a sign on the door, do not disturb. I think it was stolen from a hotel. But it is a space that I've made comfortable. I've got my lights, my little salt lamp, I've got my cushions, I've got all sorts of things that make it nice. Sometimes practicing at the same time every day really helps as well. I'm not a morning person. You don't have to be. These people who get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and start meditating. You don't have to be any of these things. I always practice my mindfulness meditation and my yoga at the same time every day, but it's not in the morning. I've already done it. I do it sort of late afternoonish because it sets me up for the rest of the night and I feel good. Don't meditate when you're tired, because you need to be alert. And if you do feel tired, use your inhales to energise you, because inhales energise and exhales relax you. The key important thing about mindfulness is you sit with your back straight away from something. It gives you that alertness so you're not distracted and go into, you see, mindfulness is the opposite of mindlessness. So that means that when you're being mindless, you're also on autopilot. Autopilot is also falling asleep. It's distraction. You don't fall asleep when you meditate. You keep alert and you are noticing, you are aware of what is happening every single moment. Okay. Tall spine, inhale to lift and lengthen. That's very, very important. Keeping that, however you want to do it. You can sit cross-legged. I like to sit on something like a cushion or something. Chin slightly tucked in. You have that dignity and alertness that comes from the posture. If you really struggle with it and you want to lean against the back of a wall or something, that helps, because you may find that posturally you're leaning forward or whatever because you've got a lot of tension in your shoulders. Okay, and you need to really work with focus. Now, your brain is like a muscle. The more you use it for one thing, So if you use your brain repetitively for something negative, it will always keep repeating that as a habit. But the more you practice mindfulness, the more that your muscle, your mindful muscle, will get better at it. Because you're building that sort of concentration muscle of mindfulness. Because the concentration of mindfulness is always noticing where your mind goes and come back to it. Because you're focusing on something, whether it be the breath, whether it be you might be focusing on something like an image or a candle, or you might be focusing on sound. Whatever you're focusing on as part of your practice, okay, you're always aware where your mind goes, and then you always gently and kindly bring it back. You're not making a mistake, you're not doing anything wrong the moment you have a thought, or suddenly that sound outside of the room distracts you away from your practice. That's all part of the training. Always notice, whenever you notice your mind is going elsewhere, you're practicing mindfulness. Yay, because you've been aware. And you're thinking, what is somebody once said to me, is mindfulness like emptying your mind? And like, I went, no, you can't empty your mind. The only time you're ever going to empty your mind is when you're no longer on this planet. You can't stop your thoughts. That's the point. It's noticing that you're having a thought and noticing that your mind's been distracted, noticing it's going somewhere else. So there you go. Remember, that's your superpower. Always coming back to your focus. Woohoo! Concentration. Now, problem is, what happens if you have a very, very challenging thought that you're really, really going through a lot of crap at the moment? And you're thinking, and you've always been thinking, well, the only way I'm going to get around this difficult thought, this difficult emotion, is distracting myself. That's not mindfulness. Distracting yourself, according to mindfulness, causes more suffering. It's quicksand, basically. The more you struggle and try to distract yourself from the difficult emotion, the more that you're going to sink. And the more you try to distract yourself with something, then that's when the tools of addiction take over. I work with people who are on an addiction drug-free program in prisons, and fundamentally at the end of the day, that they have most of the people that I deal with, they've had the most horrendous childhoods. Trauma, neglect, poverty, the addiction, the alcohol, the drugs, the heroin. That was their distraction because they didn't want to deal with the emotion. They wanted the warm cotton wool feeling of getting rid of the emotion. Whereas like basically at the end of the day, mindfulness is just getting down to that. It's actually, sitting with that stuff. And it's a challenge. But if it is a real challenge, here's the top tip. My last session I did, you do something called titration or pendulation. So if that emotion you find somewhere in your body is here in your heart, because it's a deep sadness, you titrate around it very gently on the edge. You don't go into it. You just go very gently. Imagine it's like a pile of tennis balls. You're just gently going around the edges. You gently go and explore around it. You titrate. When you pendulate, what's really intense is you have something called a resource, and that is the opposite of that intensity. Your resource is somewhere in your body where you feel lovely comfort or nothing at all. And what you do is you pendulate, like swing backwards and forwards between the intensity and the resource. And you go backwards and forwards and notice what happens as you go. Backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards. If you're not quite sure about those, I did do a guided pendulation exercise on Friday's recording in the last 20-30 minutes. So check it out. Right, okay then. Right then. So movement-based mindfulness. I'm going to do it really quickly. We're going to do it together. I want you to be seated in a comfortable position. I want you to be ready for these. Okay. Got my singing bowl. Okay. So basically, just a quick explanation of what the movement-based practice is. Right, a movement-based practice that we're going to do today, based on this Buddhist that I told you about, is where you fundamentally shake your body. You can do it seated or standing. And then you'll shake, and you can use sound, and exhales and breath. And the reason why you do sound and breath is really important, because sound and breath, using this here, you have a nerve in your body, okay, which is connecting your second brain to your main brain stem, which is all to do with your fight-flight response, and it activates it. So, you know when everybody goes, okay, the science behind, they're all going, oh yeah, that's the sound of the universe. Well, that's somebody's interpretation of it. The science of it is fundamentally is that the vibration basically activates that nerve, which relaxes you. So we shake, and then I'll count you down. And when we go 3, 2, 1, and we go to 1, you will drop into absolute stillness, into your meditation pose. Okay, hands on knees, knees crossed. And then I will take you through the mindful meditation. We do it 3 times. So we shake. I go 3, 2, 1, drop. So eyes closed or soft gaze, whichever feels comfortable. Keeping you awake, soft gaze. So you just gently look at the floor ahead of you. You're taking everything out of the room, out of your gaze, basically distractions. So you just look just ahead of your shins or whatever. Okay, so that's what you do. So basically, you're focusing on shaking and moving the body and getting out of that excess tension, that fight, flight, and also moving energy around the body, particularly if you're frozen and you're stuck. Okay, then you freeze, you drop down into it, and you stay still. The stillness is very, very important. Go into the stillness, and then I talk you through the feelings. I talk you through your body, I talk you through your contact with the floor, and I talk you through your breath, and then I let you come out of it, okay? And then that's it, basically. I'll talk you through that. Right, your loving kindness, okay, your metta, your self-compassion practice, okay, right? You are working with somebody you love, you know really, really well, that you have no conflict with. It could be a pet, it could be a friend. Then we say a little bit of a prayer for them. We wish them something that we would like them to have. It can be anything that you want for them. I would say for this particular time, because we're practicing social distancing, that you want to wish them to be safe, to be well, to be happy, to be healthy. Whatever you want them to be. You repeat that silently for them, okay? Then you can do that for somebody who's a stranger, somebody distant, somebody a distant relative, somebody you see sitting on a bus, somebody at work you don't know, you don't speak to, okay? Then you do it for somebody who's a very, very difficult, challenging person. Boris Johnson, I'm joking. Somebody that you find very, very difficult. Because this is the whole point of the metta meditation, is that you are trying to understand that suffering is universal. Buddhists know, we all know, that everybody is united by one thing. We all, and when we understand that, then we have compassion. When we have compassion for our own suffering, we have compassion for other people too. And then we do it for the whole world, and it would be nice for us to wish it for the whole world, I think, don't you, at this particular time, which is nice. And you repeat to yourself those things. May you be well, may you be safe, may I be well, may I be safe, may you, the person who's difficult, and then may the whole world be safe, may the whole world be well. We do that, and I'll take you through it. Each time you say those words, focus on the resonance of the words and what emotionally comes up for you. It's hard. It's very, very hard to understand other people's suffering. But the more we get in touch with our own suffering, it's the Buddhist story, isn't it? The second arrow, fundamentally. Just back to that thing about quicksand. The second arrow is the thing that's done to you, the difficult thing that's happened, somebody taken away from you or whatever. The first arrow, is that thing, isn't it? The pain. Oh, I've just taken the arrow. The second arrow is our reaction to it, which is the lasting pain, isn't it? I think it's something like that anyway. So, I think it's quite good to do loving kindness when you are practicing washing your hands. Because in a way, you are reminding yourself of that we are relating safely to others. Because what we're doing here now, because I don't want to think of this as being a selfish action, what you're doing here now, sat at home, practicing social distancing is you're practicing for the safety of other people. So it's like your little bit of your hand washing prayer, because you are sending out these blessings to the people. That you are, I'm here, I'm staying at home because I'm protecting everybody else from this virus. Okay, so are we all ready then? Shall we practice our first one? So then remember how we're going to be seated. Okay. We're going to first do, I'll just move my salt lamp, it's just a bit heavy. I just don't want to hit it when I'm shaking. What we're going to do then is we're going to start with our general loosening up with our physical one. Okay, you can do this standing or seated. I'm going to do this seated. So you can do whatever you like because nobody can see you. Okay, you can see me. I'll make a fool of myself for your benefit. Is that all right? So let's start with that general loosening up. Okay, so what I would love you to do is just shake loosely. Okay, whatever shaking means to you. Hands, shoulders, arms, head, vigorously. So remember, you are waiting for me to count you down to drop to perfect stillness into your meditation pose. So you can use the mouth, nice deep exhales, just letting go of all that tension. Relax your jaw, relax your face, just let it all go. Watch my hair go all over the place. Okay, so just let it all go. Just get really involved in the shaking. Really, 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 really involved in the shaking. And be ready. And when I do 3, 2, 1, I want you to do a big, loud ha or exhale and drop into stillness in your meditation. And then I'll guide you through it. Okay, 3, 2, 1. So just practice awareness of physical sensations, the feelings, the body. Relaxing whatever is happening in the body, notice whatever and however it is, right here, right now. It's all completely fine. Just welcome all sensations and feelings, neither blocking them or ignoring any of them. Relax into whatever is. Notice. Become aware. Checking in. And just continue that for a few moments while I go into silence. Being present, being here, being now. Okay, let's get back to shaking vigorously. Hands and arms, any way you like. Oh, sorry, I've just sat on a cable there. That's very uncomfortable. You can sigh. Get all that tension out, shake the body, use the voice, do whatever you need to do. Nobody's looking at you, nobody's watching you. Get it all out of your system. Shake off everything as if you're shaking off water off your end of your fingers, your arms, your shoulders, your head, your body. You might want to shake a little bit more, get that upper body really moving, shaking physically, vigorously. Then ready, 3, 2, 1, drop, stillness. Just say hi. Notice any sensations and feelings. Just let them come up and go. Just let them be just as they are, without trying to change, without wanting more or wanting less. Just allow whatever is happening now to happen. Just be as you are, noticing, sensing, being aware. Okay, for the last time. So we do it 3 times. So this time, getting more upper body movement in here. Now, if you're standing and doing this, it's like, oh, shake it off, Taylor Swift. Just completely doing it. Really get involved with the movement. The thing is to notice the difference between the movement and the sensation of stillness. Moving into stillness. Why do we do yoga? We do yoga because we get all that energy out first before we meditate. Seen the Shaolin monks? They practice the movement, they do all their kung fu, and then that gives them the energy and the strength to sit through the long meditative practice, but also as well, it gets out that excessive energy, so it makes it easy for you to sit and be present because you've got that excess out. So we're ready? 3, 2, 1, drop. Just come into stillness. And this time I just want you to shift your focus. Shift your awareness into sounds in the environment. Notice what's around. Sounds in the distance. Sounds inside of your room. Just notice how these sounds come and go. Listen to sounds, notice maybe sounds inside the body now. Heartbeat, pulsation. Just let your awareness go now to sensations of the body, movement. Louder sounds again and contact. Feel your body. Feel the seat. Feel your hands. Feel whatever is holding and supporting you at this particular time, in this present moment. Just notice. And if your mind wanders, simply come back to sensations of the physical body. The hips on the floor, your hands on your thighs, the ground, sounds coming in and out of your conscious awareness, drifting like clouds. And then just come to the breath. Just notice each inhale and each exhale. Notice the rise and fall of the abdomen. Become aware of the breath wherever you feel it the most. And then release any awareness of what is. Just be spacious, without no longer focusing on sensations or sounds or breath. Just be as you are, present, spacious, let go of all focus. Okay, so that practice. Hello, Philippa from Sheffield. Lovely to see you. Hello, Michelle and Amelia. So that practice, basically, that movement practice there, which is a Buddhist movement practice, very good if you're in freeze, immobilised, flop. Good for a traumatic practice. It's a trauma-aware practice as well. It's trauma-sensitive. Very good if you've got anxiety, excessive energy, and you probably find doing a very still seated meditation really challenging. Now, I do my meditation when I'm moving, when I'm doing my practicing my yoga, because I'm so in the moment that I'm just aware of the sensation of the movement, the sensation of my breath and the contact with my body and whatever is supporting me. So yes, mindfulness just doesn't mean sitting cross-legged and looking like a Buddha. Right, so loving kindness. I've really sort of picked these two today because at the end of the day, I think it really, really meets what we need right now. So as I've said before, it's all about agency and taking back control when it comes to our emotions, because we're, everything is imposed on us, it would appear, and it's dysregulating our nervous system. So with this loving kindness, we've lost that primary resource of connection and comfort. And it's really good for compassion fatigue. If you work with a lot of people, this one really helps. If you work in the NHS, it really helps. If you're a practitioner like me, because I'm a yoga therapist, and you absorb a lot of people's energy, when you give a lot to other people, it takes a lot and you need to get it back. And also as well, if you're working with a lot of people, it can be very physically draining, emotionally. And this allows you to create that space. You're practicing self-care and you're recognising the commonality of suffering that, is the basis of the Buddhist practice. So loving kindness, we're going to come into that position again of mindfulness. Obviously, cross-legged, what feels comfortable. I like to be always elevated on my hips. If you feel with this practice you want to lay down or whatever, and your knees bend, that's up to you. But I like to have a nice upright spine, so I'm keeping focused and alert, and I'm not being distracted by going into being sleepy. So again, eyes closed, if that's helpful. Soft gaze to the floor if you want to keep alert, okay? Because this practice is all about getting that primary resource of comfort. If you want to hold yourself in a way that helps this self-compassion practice, that's good. Self-compassion, okay? I know this is mirroring. You're going to see it the opposite way around. Place your right hand underneath your left armpit, because that's close to your heart, and give yourself a self-soothing hug. That's one thing that you can do while you're doing this. Or you can place one hand on your heart and really connect with that heart space, your emotional space, and one hand on your abdomen because you want to connect with your breath. So it's mind and body. So it's all about relating, and it's all about that importance of touch that we've lost because we are not connecting with as many people as we can. That's why it's so important that we need to visually see people. FaceTime, things like that. Still, you have to try and keep doing it. Connection, it is proven, the more connected we are, the more we are mentally well, the more isolated we are, the more we are more likely to be less so. Okay, right, drinking lots of water because I've just done 1 hour yoga. Right, let's do this loving kindness, this metta, this Buddhist practice, another one. My son's a Buddhist. He lives with a lovely, just one. Buddhist and Catholic. I think it's just a Hong Kong thing, really. I think, he practices yoga and meditation. Used to go a lot when he lived in Sheffield. My son, when he was doing his degree in history, he used to go to the Buddhist centre practice. So let's get in our position, what feels comfortable, cross-legged or whatever, hands, on your knees, heart or self-hugging. Okay, eyes closed, soft gaze. So I'm just going to go for a soft gaze. I want to keep nice and alert. Nice long spine, chin slightly tilted. This is our position for yoga. Mindfulness and meditation. Okay, so take 3 deep cleansing breaths. Inhale through the nose and out through the mouth. Practicing that sense of uprightness, long spine, groundedness. Feel the connection with the floor and an openness in the heart. An openness with the heart as best that we can in this challenging time. And really try to connect with the sensation of breathing in and out. You can place your hand on your abdomen. Really anchor into the breath and always know that you can come back to the breath at any time. Any time that this practice becomes overwhelming. And keep offering yourself that soothing touch to hold the body. To connect to yourself. And in the practice of metta, loving kindness, meditation, we practice visualization. So first of all, in your mind's eye, bring to mind a being. Somebody, a pet or a person that makes you smile. Somebody that brings you happiness and joy to your heart. A relationship to you that is easy and uncomplicated. Could be even a child or a good friend. And settle into visualizing that person or child or pet for a few moments in your mind's eye. And recognizing that also, just like yourself and me, they suffer and wish the best for themselves and for others. We silently express and repeat the following sentences in our mind, as if we're sending out a wish, an intention for that person, and try to feel the importance and the meaning of the words as you speak them to yourself inside your mind. Visualize them at the same time. May you be well. May you be happy. May you be safe. May you live with ease. And whatever comes up as you say these words for that person, allow that feeling, the emotion, the sensation, allow it to just come up. If your mind wanders, simply come back to visualizing the person or the pet, that image of that loved one in front of you. Again, wish them well. May you be well. May you be happy. May you be safe. May you live with ease. And focus on the feelings and the senses and whatever you're feeling as you imagine that person, that loved one, inside of your head for one last time. Feeling the resonance of the words. May you be well. May you be happy. May you be safe and live with ease. And now add yourself into that circle of goodwill. Imagine that you're standing next to that loved one. Notice how it feels. Notice how you feel as you imagine yourself stood together, wishing both the same kindness and happiness to both of you. May you and I be well. May you and I be happy. May you and I be safe. May you and I live with ease. As those wishes are directed out to both of you, repeat again and savour the meaning and how it feels as you give these good wishes out to both your loved one and yourself. May you and I be well. May you and I be happy. May you and I be safe. May you and I live with ease. And for the one last final time, before you let that loved one go, and as you think of them and how much love they bring to you and you give to them, once again repeat and savour the meaning of these words and how they resonate for you. May you and I be well. May you and I be happy. May you and I be safe. May you and I live with ease. Now visualise your loved one walking away, sending them love to them as they go, thanking them. And now rest your attention fully on yourself. If this is challenging for you to wish yourself kindness and love, offer yourself a soothing touch at this time, a self-hug. And imagine your whole body in your mind's eye, noticing whether stress or discomfort, where it is happening inside of your body, and wish yourself, may I be well, may I be happy, may I be safe, may I live with ease. And as you say these words to yourself, notice how you're feeling emotionally and physically. Bringing full attention, allow everything to happen. It's completely fine. Welcome all sensations and feelings, neither blocking or ignoring any of them. Just say hi, welcome, whatever you're feeling right here, right now. And lastly, once again, address yourself. Give yourself self-compassion. May I be well. May I be happy. May I be safe. May I live with ease. Embrace. Notice any challenging emotions that come up for you now, in this present moment. And then let go of the vision of yourself, your whole body in your mind's eye. And bring to mind somebody for you that has many challenges that you find difficult. A person that you find too much maybe. But like us, they also want the best for themselves, and they suffer too. And wish them well. May you be well. May you be happy. May you be safe. May you live with ease. And just notice, either blocking or ignoring any emotions, how it feels to wish this person who you feel challenged with, to wish them so well. Can you wish them well enough to smile mentally towards them, knowing that they too have the same challenges that we do, that they are also day to day trying to deal with stuff too? Again, wish them, may you be well, may you be happy, may you be safe, and may you live with ease. Just like me, they are the same too. They deal with the same difficult emotions and feelings. May you be well. May you be happy. May you be safe, and may you live with ease. And now let go of the image of that person who challenges you. And we send out good wishes towards the larger community. If you can, you might want to picture all the healthcare workers right now, all the key workers, all those people who are struggling financially. Perhaps they have no home, perhaps the vulnerable and the sick, the people who are isolated away from all their loved ones. Try to envision the whole human community in your mind's eye right now. Not just your town, your street, the people in your house, your country, the whole world, and wish them all, may you all be well, may you all be happy, may you all be safe, may you all live with ease. And notice, relaxing to whatever is happening in the body. Whatever you feel right now is completely fine. Welcome all sensations and feelings as you consider and picture the whole world and the community and the resonance of the words and what they mean to you. Wish them once again, may you be well, may you be happy, may you be safe, may you live with ease. And even for those who are making difficult decisions right now, such as our government, we may not agree with some of the ways that things have turned out, but just like me, we are all the same. We are all part of the same family, the same community. We all wish for other people what we wish for ourselves. May you all be well. May you be happy. May you be safe. May you all live with ease. And consider this as a beacon of light and love, giving out to everyone at this particular time. That you're sending out love to everybody. Namaste. Okay then, 2 key practices there from Buddhism. Mindfulness, which is where mindfulness comes from. Well, hey. Hope you've enjoyed that. So that's 2 out of the 5 that we've done. We've done the movement and grounding, and we've done the metta, loving compassion. And so next Sunday, I haven't yet decided which one I'm going to go through, but we've got the traditional seated one for peace and balance, clarity, concentration. Focus on mind, body and emotions to help you go through how to deal with challenging sort of like habits or reactive natures, any kind of roadblocks that stop you from looking after your self-care. And obviously the Just Be meditation, which is all about, for those who, I've got destination addiction, I must admit, just, you know, putting pressure on myself to, self-improvement, prove oneself. We're obsessed with this self-improvement, aren't we? Sort of malarkey, you know. What did David Bowie said? We're all going and coming at the same time. There is no progression. I think that's what lovely David Bowie might not have said that. He was going to be a Buddhist monk and then decided not to be. So he did practice it and meditation. So yeah, progress of the human spirit and all that. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that. So thank you for watching. So